Hey, I'm Jason. We're playing with sticks. Today we're going to talk about how to sprout a loquat tree, which is what we have right here. This is one from the hardware store. It is, I have no idea how to say it. It's a grafted variety. So feel free to pronounce that yourself. I'm not even going to try. And in my hands here are some I grew from seed, and I went and checked on them today, and they were. The dogs shut up there for a minute. They were actually at a property that we sold, and so I got some cuttings from it. You actually plant loquat seeds fresh. You see there. They'll have 1 or 2, 3 or 4 seeds. Yeah, good. In it, in a fruit. There's one in this one. We'll keep going. Come here. I don't give squirrels a nut that come eat my seeds. Come here. Come here. Come get it. Right here. Come and get it. There. Yeah, get out of here. Trying to make a video. Unless I lost it, that one only had 2. So again, that's the seed. And like I say, this is a grafted variety of tree here. Loquat typically doesn't grow true to the seed that you plant if it's a grafted variety. If it's not a grafted variety, if it's one that you grew from seed or you know was grown from seed, and you like the way it tastes, it will grow true to that seed. So I'm going to take these and actually try to make some cuttings too. We'll do a separate video on that. But again, here's the fruit. Another name for it is Japanese plum. And they actually have a really good flavor. Just kind of. That one also had 2 seeds in it. You see this one seed here, it's got the little green check on it there. What that is a skin. And I'm going to take these inside and we're going to wash them up, get them really good and clean. We're going to peel that skin off and we're going to sprout them in a paper towel in a Ziploc bag. And I'll show you how to do that. I've tried this a lot of different ways. And in all honesty, I've never had a lot of luck, but this works. It works quickly. It works really well. These are some old ones. Like I say, this is one that's grown from seed. You'll see it's basically, it's not really big. The fruit is not large. The grafted variety will probably have a larger fruit. It may be sweeter, but these are actually really good. The flavor also has a lot to do with how much they get fertilized, how much water they get, things like that. But these will grow true to their type, which I have no idea what it is, just a wild loquat. But I had the parent tree. I grew these from seed, and they taste exactly like the parent tree. And that only had 1 seed, a little bigger. All right, let's go sprout them. All right, so I'm going to just continue to get the rest of these fruit cleaned up. A little old. Some of it's good. All of it's okay. I had 4 seeds. Oh, too gross to mess with. Oh, lost that one. We'll see if they grow under a deck. These fruit were way more than ripe. All right. I'll get those cleaned up here in a minute. But actually, in addition to growing them from seed, I showed you those cuttings I had there a while ago. I'm going to try to grow some from cuttings. But in order to do that, got to trim off a lot of this excess foliage. There are no roots. Down here is where it's going to root, if it is going to root. There are no roots to support all these leaves right now, right? So we're going to try a cutting. You got to take a lot of the load off of the root system, or lack of root system. What's that? What's that? You want a nut? A leaf? No? I'll get my Loquat seeds. I'll get you a nut. Here. Here. Come get this. Here. Come get this. Come back here. Yeah. Go play. Alright. That is a little larger than I normally see cuttings done. I'm really just trying this. We'll see if it works. I don't even know if you can grow Loquat from cuttings. I'll probably Google that before I release this video. See how bad of an idea this was. But worth a shot. Like I say, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the owner of the home where these were located, where I found these, I grew this plant from this tree from a seed, but the owners were trimming it back and had a bunch of it out at the front of their house out by the road, and so I stopped and picked up these cuttings. Alright. Basically you want to make it look really ugly. Like that. I think I'll go ahead and take this one off. Alright, when I put them in the pot, I'm going to bury them down past the first few nodes here. The roots, if they form, are going to come from those areas. And I am just going to scuff up the bark a little bit around those nodes to the areas that will be exposed to the soil. So I'm going to plant this one about this deep. Go ahead and do the same thing here. Going to help me scuff them up. I'm going to chew on it. Just kind of doing this random like. A lot of these damaged areas typically end up being where the roots come in, but you want to leave some bark around the whole diameter because the bark also keeps the moisture in the stick. Alright. This is some rooting compound, rooting powder. Just get this at, I think I got this at Home Depot. You can get it pretty much any hardware store. I don't want to, basically you just need a little bit of this powder on the stick. You can do this without rooting compound. Let's see if this works with Loquats. Uh-oh, there goes one of my Loquats. Come back. One good thing about Loquat is they are very productive. So there's plenty to share with your friends. No need to be greedy. Alright. Just got some powder on it there. And we're going to go get a bucket of dirt, stick it in there, and we'll see what happens. We're going to come back to this in a couple of weeks. Luckily, it probably won't be a couple of weeks for you in video land. You're probably watching this a while after I made this video, so you can probably just go down to the channel and search for the next video. Subscribe, you'll see new videos coming. But and you'll see what happens to these in a couple of weeks. So we're not done. I'm going to go put them in the dirt. Also going to clean these off and try to make some loquats. Looks like my little squirrel friend is quite content with his loquat. Is it good? All right. So we have our seeds here that we just got through taking these out of the loquat. So these are fresh. Got them in water just because, but they haven't been in there very long. They're a little slimy when you first get them. You kind of just wash them around in that water a little bit. It comes off pretty quick. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to skin them. I think I tried to show you this earlier. I don't know how well you saw it, but you see that little green check there? That's a piece of the skin that's already come off. So what I'm going to do is just use my fingernails to open that up. Once you get started on the skin, it comes off pretty easily. And this seems to make a pretty big difference. I've tried, there's two things that I'm going to talk about today that I think is making the difference. I've tried this quite a few times with zero success. But so there's the skin. There's the seed without the skin. Let's put that in the pile. I think taking the skin off helps. And I think probably for the same reason that the next thing I'm fixing to tell you to do helps, and that is to change. This is going to be a wet paper towel that we put in a Ziploc bag. And we're going to change that paper towel about every 2 days. It only takes about 5 days for these to sprout, so it happens pretty quick. Hey. But if you don't do that, you get fungus and mold and stuff growing on the seed, and they just don't sprout. It seems to hamper the growth. So you're just trying to get the seed off. You don't really want to damage this inner part of the seed. But I'll probably speed up the video and get the rest of these done here, so you don't have to sit here and watch this being done in slow motion. Be drop them over and over again. That went all the way across the room. That one went back in the bowl. They're like, no, don't skin me. You'll be thankful. You'll grow into a tall tree. Quit trying to. Your life will not be over if you let me skin you and plant you. These seeds are weirdos. I go on a little seed collection run. Picking them up after they shoot across the room. Coming up on the last seed here. And I want to kind of point something out. I don't know if you can see this with the camera there, but there's a little white dot right on the tip of the seed. See if that focuses. That is going to be the root. So that little white dot will just start, you'll see over the next couple of days, it'll start to form a little, it'll start to elongate, I guess is the right word for it, and it'll get to be about an inch long root, and that's when we're going to plant them. All right. Now see my water here is all nasty. I don't want to use this water to wet my paper towel that I'm going to put them in. I'm going to go get new water. All right, all clean. 13 seeds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lay them out. Fold it up. I don't really want them bunched up. It's kind of like this right here. Just get it sort of wet, just moist. Open just barely so we get some air. Done. We're back in a week. Actually, we're going to change this every couple of days. So these have been out for, or not out, but in the paper towel here for probably a little over a week. They sprouted in 4 or 5 days. So you can see there, they've already got roots that are about 1 inch long. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and put one in each pot. And about 1 inch deep. The root down. Get a closer look at that. And there they are. That root's probably a little longer than 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches almost. Almost forgetting which one I planted. I've already planted these first two. So I'm going to go about 1 inch down. Pack the soil in there kind of loosely. One of the things that's really important about anything that you're starting from seed is to protect it from would-be nuisance pests like that little guy right there. Come here, Mama. Eat your nuts. Not my seeds. Get your nuts. I also put everything over there in a little cage just to keep squirrels out of it until things get started. Everything's pretty vulnerable until it gets up to be an actual little tree. So as long as we're dealing with seeds like this, really want to protect what we're dealing with. Just going to put one of these, oops. Guess you want to be careful with those roots too. That one will probably be okay, we'll see. Yeah, boy, that one's, the root's gone through the paper towel. So that's the way I broke that last root. Yeah, just be real gentle with the roots. There she is, about 1 inch deep. Just pack soil around it. I'm going to water it down really good. This is really the first time that I've had any real success trying to grow a loquat from seed. A lot of folks say to put them in the ground, just directly in the ground. I've had 0 sprout that way for me personally. And I've tried, I don't know, 3 or 4 times with, groups of seeds like this. This method of actually taking the skin off of a fresh loquat seed and then sprouting it in a paper towel there seems to be a lot better. I'm 8 for 8. So that was 8 seeds that we tried to sprout and 8 seeds that at least sprouted. As far as roots go, we'll see how long these take to come up. And how many of them go ahead and sprout leaves. Now I'm just going to go put them where they'll be protected. Away from our little squirrel friends. Show you one of the other videos I got coming up pretty quick I'm going to do. This is a Barbados cherry. Growing it from cuttings. You see, already got leaves here. It's only been about, sorry, get them focused there. About a week, maybe a little less. Actually. I'll show you how to do that in another video. Barbados cherry, yummy. And now we wait. And wait. So here's the cage I've got. It's not really a greenhouse, it's really more of a cage, and we actually use it as a cage when we're not using it to sprout seeds, just to keep these little guys away. Mama. Alright, so we're here in the garden. Got my Loquat branches. I'll rob a little bit of the garden soil from the raised bed here. Don't get too close to my cantaloupes, I don't want to kill those. I want these to go pretty deep, so I'm going to fill this thing up all the way. Alright, still got that powder on it, the rooting compound. Just sticking them in the ground. And you can do a bunch in a bucket because some may take, some may not take. Went ahead and got a couple of other little twigs here. And put those in as well. You do want this packed in pretty tight around the stick so that it doesn't lose moisture. And you want to keep this really moist for the next week or so. And you don't want it disturbed. So just the squirrels coming around and doing this will be enough to make the roots not take, because they're very fragile when they start. And you don't want it disturbed. So I'm going to put it in my cage, my planting cage I've got behind me here, and water it down good so that they grow. Now you do want these to be moist, not really wet. However, right now I'm going to make it good and wet. I'm making it good and wet right now. That does a couple of things. One, gives it a lot of water, and two, gets that soil to tighten up around that root, around the stick where the root is eventually going to be. There's holes in the bottom of the pot, allow the water to drain out so that it doesn't stay wet, it'll actually just stay moist. And I'm going to want to come out here and water it every day. Again, don't let it get disturbed any more than you have to. Alright, I'll see him in 2 weeks. Or a week. Alright, and actually, while we're in here, I'll go ahead and touch on one third technique that I've tried to do for growing these from seed, is to just throw a seed in the ground. I did that with about 7 seeds in this pot. It's been over a month ago. As you can see, no joy at all. So I'm going to get impatient with one of these areas. Ooh, looky there. Probably should have left it in the ground a little while longer. But it does have a good seed on me, a good root on it. So I'm going to apologize formally and to that little seed. Sorry, little guy. We're going to leave him alone. There may not be any joy right now, but there is joy happening below the surface. However, again, this has taken a while, so we'll see how it does.